Yo, no hesitation, straight in. Back in the studio today, sporting a reggae Rasta tracksuit, which is very, very comfortable. And it's a rainy and blustery day outside. Drinking some lime and honey water. Going out of my way to vibrate on a higher level, as I was speaking about before. And as I put myself into a half lotus, like I said before, I was made with reggae. When I was in my mum's belly for 9 months, she's playing me reggae through studio headphones. All those vibrations as I'm literally being made. Created myself. Created I am. Created Mr. Wilson. And I feel the vibe of reggae amazingly. And that paid off with other music too. I always had noise. I live above car park. It's my home. I'm building a studio in my home, so there's all sorts of sounds. And those mics, they don't work. This phone that I've bought doesn't support the mics, so I need to get a Bluetooth microphone set up, which I shall do at some point, so kind of bear with me if you can. So I'm sat here now, and like I said the other day in the last episode, I wish to vibrate on as high a level as possible. And this is a spiritual work to do. Everything is magic, so this is a process, a magical practice to vibrate on a higher level. You vibrate on a higher level, you achieve and you manifest better things. You break free from this construct. See, love goes like this. There's the higher level. And fear does this. Doesn't go far. At a wavelength, it would be a batchy wavelength like this. When love would be a flow that goes far. Yes. So from the food, the clothes you wear, the food you eat, the things you drink, the information you receive, the light you receive, everything is all going to help you vibrate on a different level. So if you have hardly any light and you're in the dark and you eat food that's specifically designed for you to vibrate on a lower level, and the music is lower frequency music, and the information you receive is that of fear and doubt and psychological conditioning, all to put you on a lower vibrational level, and even the vibration of said information itself is low frequency. And if you hear this and see this and wear this and ingest this every single day of your life, you're going to vibrate on that level. Therefore, what you manifest will be, So this tracksuit is 100% cotton, as is my vest and cotton rag around my head. And I treat my hair with, I don't put shampoo or any of that in my hair. I treat my hair with warm water and some high quality soap to wash it once every 3 or 4 days, not every day. And occasionally I make up a mixture of coconut oil, some instant coffee, a couple of lemons squeezed in, a banana, some honey, organic honey, and I mix all that up in the blender, maybe a splash of full fat organic milk. And I mix it all up in the blender to make a paste, and I'll paste that all over my hair. Put on a shower cap and then wrap a towel around it. The next day, you've got to have 4 or 5 showers to get that out of your hair. It's not coming out straight away. The next day, I brush my hair, and I kid you not, I can put the comb around here and around my head like this, and like when you get a balloon and rub the static from the balloon and it chases your hair, this happens without no balloon, nothing. I just wake up in the morning, I go and brush my hair, and I can do this, and all my hair will follow the brush because I'm vibrating, I'm zinging on a very, very high level. And do not the Rasta man them teach good vibes? Do not they coined the phrase good vibes? Yes? And when you listen to real reggae with a live band and organic, my God, that's a good vibe. And the bass hits, even though it's a bass in general is a low frequency, it's still good and irie. Good vibes. And the teachings of the Rasta man, they go back, they're ancient, they're kingly. And there's a knowledge found within reggae which, when the majority of the world were wondering what the Da Vinci Code means, you know, if you get this picture of the Last Supper and replace this person with that person and turn it upside down and do a cartwheel, this might mean this and that, and oh wow, look, it's not even a cup, it's actually the womb of man. Fuck off. What a pile of shit. Really, come on, really. Well, number one, have a look at that picture of the Last Supper again. You'll find that they're actually inside a giant pyramid. A step pyramid, with the 3 doors at the top and the 3 windows behind them. And look to the person to the right, she's actually got a tit. That would be Mary Magdalene, right there. And, you know, there you go, 3. But, whilst everyone was being brainwashed with that ridiculous film, I was there listening to reggae, questioning, who is this Jah person? I've listened to reggae all my life, I love reggae, so I think I should take the responsibility to find out who is this Jah person. They say it all the time, Jah, they say, Jah Rastafari, Jah. Who is this person? I've got to find out what and who Jah is. But I'm self-educated, never learnt nothing at school, and I went away from the system big time, so I've got to do things my way. And sometimes it takes me a long time, and I'm a bit stubborn, and other times I learn rapidly and surprise and shock myself. Who is this Jah? So I found out that the word hallelujah is J-A-H at the end, and that is also how one spells Jah. That was my first little clue. And this is in the days, this is before Google. This is way, way, way back when. And then later on I found out through different observations and different researching that Haile Selassie, the Emperor of Ethiopia, who also appears on the Ethiopian Rasta flag and above Bob Marley and so on and so forth. His first name was Raz. His second name was Teferi, and he was the first. So there's the Rastafari, Raz Teferi the first. Conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, King of kings, Lord of lords. And he was crowned King of kings, Lord of lords, and the kings and queens from around the world turned up to his coronation and accepted that he was King of kings, Lord of lords. They didn't oppose it. Yes? Okay, he was later supplanted, but that's another story. And his bloodline goes back uninterrupted to the Queen of Sheba, the legendary Queen of Sheba, and King Solomon. And his dad was King David. And it says quite clearly in the Bible many times that Jesus says, I am of the house of David. So when a Rasta man say, Jah, Rastafari, they're saying, Jesus, Rastafari the first. That you carry the blood of Jesus. That's what they're saying. That's why the music is, them horns are so kingly. And it's the music of kings. It really and truly is. Good kings. The line of good kings. Yes. Now Bob Marley said, give us the teachings of His Majesty. Because we now want no devil philosophy. And what have we got happening now? What's happening in the world? Are we starting to wake up a bit, are we? A little bit. Not enough. Good vibes. Everything is a vibration. Everything is magic. Everything is a vibration, and a vibration is a frequency, and a frequency is a light. Everything is light. Light is information. Everything is information. It goes round full circle, full circle, full circle. The Star of David itself is, in my opinion, and from the research I've done, a map of reality and the universe itself. In fact, I believe that the Star of David would have possibly been created before the circle. And I'm saying this because if you go back to caveman days, or when humans were infant in their history, if you believe in cavemen or not, because who really knows, But let's say you've got some ancient, proper ancient humans sat there, and they have some sand at their feet and a piece of wood like a stick. Well, I believe they would have been messing around with straight lines before they would mess around with a circle. I think that logic would just say that if you've got a stick in the ground and you're drawing things in the ground, you have no idea what drawing is, the concept hasn't been created, and you sat there with a stick, you would put a straight line in the sand first before you try and create a circle. I mean, do we not believe that if you draw a perfect circle that you go mad? Or everyone does a circle from left to right. If you do a circle from right to left, you will create or with your full arm circumference, you will create a perfect circle. But still, I believe that we would have been drawing straight lines first. And with messing around with those straight lines, linking the ends of those straight lines together, one would come up with either a square or a triangle. And inevitably, we would have come up with duality by putting another triangle or another square over it, which would create the shape of a star. And with that shape of a star, with the edges connecting from all those edges, you would then have a perfect circle. I don't believe we would have come up with a circle first and then put lines inside to get a star. I simply don't believe this. And with the Star of David, if you then put 3 lines in the centre of the Star of David, now that you have a circle around the outside, 3 lines in the centre and you've drawn a cube. Now this might not mean much to modern humans, but ancient humans, you've just created 3-dimensional. All the mathematics that make up all the special effects and all the CGI comes from those 3 lines within the centre of the Star of David. 3 dimensions, everything we can see, all reality is 3-dimensional, yes. The Star of David gives you that when you put 3 lines in the centre of it. The circle and the wheel and Metatron's cube, when you carry on connecting lines, that all comes from the Star of David. And did not King David's son Solomon say to God when he appeared in his dream, God said, I loved you, Father, and I love you, and I'll give you anything you wish. And he said to God, maybe if you gave me wisdom, I would be able to answer your question, for I am not worthy. True humbleness. So God bestowed upon King Solomon his powers. The Star of David is a truly magical symbol. And of the house of David, from King Solomon, Queen of Sheba, an uninterrupted line of kings all the way up to Haile Selassie. And this is why the Rastaman called him Jah, Rastafari, the first conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. And this is why reggae music is so airy. Airy means good, means happy, free and peaceful. And why good vibes can change how you feel within seconds, and bad vibes can change how you feel within seconds. Being a musician, in fact, I've transgressed, I've ascended being a musician. I've realised that a musician is a magician and that everything is magic. And I've studied and come up with my own philosophies and my own ways of connecting dots and preaching and teaching and people reaching, and now I am. Give us the teachings of His Majesty, 'cause we now want no devil philosophy. And I have no problem what a man or woman does for their religion, you understand. But it's what you do through that religion, through that power. It's your intentions of what you do. You either make a better world or a not better world. Now, if you make a better world for yourself, but on the backs of a whole bunch of people that don't get a better world, well, that's not good. A better world is a better world for everyone. And also, I'm a blues man. And I've been a blues man for many, many years. I played more blues than I played reggae. Reggae is something to me that's so pure that when I'm inspired, it's like a drug and I have to skank to reggae. And if I'm inspired, I pick up a mic and I bust some lyrics and I might freestyle. But it's out of inspiration. Someone can't come up to me and say, oh, you know, do some reggae, it doesn't work. Even if I do it, it's fake, it doesn't, it's not real. But when the spirit hits me, yeah, when I feel irie, then I'm irie at skanking, root skanking everywhere. There ain't no stopping me, and I'm not doing it to impress anyone. It's I and I. Yes. And my blues, I've coined the phrase badass rather than sad, because I've played the blues for so many years, and I've had so many tragedies and horrific events happen, and there's me going, oh yeah, I'm a blues man, spell. Oh, I'm just going to carry on playing the blues. Blah, blah, blah. And it got to a point where it's like I'm manifesting my own misery. Can't keep doing this, like I said in a previous episode. So I coined the phrase badass, and that's changed the way my blues is. That's changed my outlook on what the blues is. Badass blues. I'm a badass blues man. I'm not a sad blues man. And because of this, I haven't got the blues anymore. And yeah, that takes the sound differently. You know, I used to be able to sing, not I could do this on a regular basis, but I have sung some blues and people start crying, you know. So I've got tears rolling down my face. And I haven't sung anything in a year and a bit, and I've quit smoking since then, so my old gravelly voice is gone, you know. But my point is that now that I say the word badass blues, and I know that words are spells, I've transformed the whole blues in my life to something that I'm happy to keep playing, and now I see the blues as a form of magic, as a mystical art. I don't care if you put blues into a guitar, that don't make you a blues man. You're not playing the blues. You're twanging some 12 bar into a banjo, that's it. Blues, if you're not conjuring up the spirits and putting tears and sweat down yourself, then that ain't the blues. And if you haven't suffered and been oppressed, then you're not playing no blues. You're playing a 12 bar. Yeah. And a lot of people might argue with me on this one, but it's true. Not even the Delta blues men were really... They were bluesmen, yeah, and they'd suffered and been oppressed, of course, but that ain't the blues. The blues was never recorded. Blues come out of slavery. No one gave a fuck about it. It's oppression and slavery and pure horror. Hopelessness. That's the blues. No one's ever really heard the real blues. Them Delta bluesmen were badass. They were badass bluesmen, and yes, they suffered, yes, they've been oppressed, but nowhere near what... They were riding on the tailcoats of the genuine blues. So now we think Chicago blues, what most people say is the blues. No, that's rhythm and blues. Yeah? Again, badass. Badass, not necessarily horror and sufferation. They are badass bluesmen. Yeah? They got pistols and gold-plated, jewel-encrusted flick knives, man. That's no oppression. That's a badass bluesman fighting racism in a windy city, playing a badass sound, you know? But both these are forms of magic. They're both forms of music, and they both have an effect upon people. From wailing away like a very, very sad individual, to skanking around by the river, bussing out some Bob Marley prancing and dancing, skanking. It has a very different effect, and it's a very different nature. And there's always been music, magic in the music. From reggae, King Solomon, his magic ring, the Star of David. All demonology comes from the study of King Solomon. And from the old bluesmen with voodoo, or up to Jimi Hendrix in 1969, Woodstock, I'm a voodoo child, didn't go nowhere, just got stronger. And the hippies, they were all with their flowers and spirits and chasing fairies. And then 1970s, the rock got a bit heavier, and then you got the 80s, you've got the power ballad bands on one side, and you've got heavy metal with demons all over every album cover on the other side. And then death metal and thrash metal and all sorts. There's always been a form of magic within music, at least and ironically, started with the blues, started with them bluesmen and voodoo and hoodoo, which is now turned into many different forms of spirituality and study. And being that I'm a bluesman, and I studied the Crossroads and it answered me, and now I see the numbers everywhere I go, I'm a very proud hoodoo man. And the god of the Crossroads and a goddess from voodoo, without a shadow of a doubt, chose me. And I'm very, very thankful and proud, because they saved me and they saved my children in my most dire time, my most dire need. There weren't no one there at all, not one family member, no one from no community, and the system, well, let's not even go there. I was getting pulled to pieces. And I studied the Crossroads, not knowing I'd paid homage all my life, didn't even know what it was. I'm a very, very, very proud. I chose hoodoo, and voodoo chose me. And for anyone out there going, oh, switching off, cool, switch off. Everything is magic. There's only different forms of magic. If you pray and you know, from defense from your enemies, and God smites them down, well, then you're a hypocrite, because you've gone and done black magic. And if you harass them and them and you say, just slew them, that's black magic. Any form of word saying something negative on someone is a negative form. And ironically, it was the white man who stole Africans and made them slaves, and then got all butthurt when they got back at them with black magic, so they started calling it black magic. The whole thing's a massive hypocrisy. And if you flip to the last page of Revelation in the Bible, it quite clearly says, I, Jesus, am of the house of David and the morning star. The morning star is the sun. The sun. Lucifer, son of the morning, I'm gonna chase you out of earth. No, it's the sun. Lucifer is the sun. Jesus was saying, the message is the sun worship, worshipped on Sunday. Have you seen the light giver, maker of all things, son of the universe? You see? The true cross is the Celtic cross. The cross with the circle, that's the cross. Not a poor skinny dude nailed to a cross dying in front of his mum. If anything, that's black magic. Worshipping that, oh God. But worship what you wish, I'm just spitting the truth. When you say amen, you're saying Amen, Amen Ra, the sun god from Egypt. And they got a cross with the hoop at the top. It's the same as the Celtic cross. It's the sun. And the same story goes back millennia. 15 major religions all have the same story of the sun being resurrected within 3 days is basically the equinox, and it's its lowest point, so it doesn't rise up that much for 3 days, and then it starts rising again, being resurrected. It's the same story again and again and again and again and again. Why do you think the idea of the devil has got Pan from Greek's legs and horns, and a tail with a little arrow at the end, which is George and a dragon, and a pitchfork, which would be King Poseidon's pitchfork, the god of the sea, and then all of a sudden he was made red just at the same time that Coca-Cola made Saint Nick red? I mean, the whole thing's just a big hypocrisy. And I say this because when I say I do reggae, but I'm a bluesman, and then I pay a massive homage to the Rastafari faith, and I pay a massive homage to voodoo, and I'm a proud hoodoo man, that's a big contradiction within itself to someone else's point of view. Not mine. It makes perfect sense. I'm a culture pirate. I take what I want. And I do a lot of good with it. And for anyone from hoodoo saying it's a closed practice and I'm not black, I've never been to America and I've got no links to slavery, hoodoo is folk magic. We all have folks. We all have ancestors. And white people practiced hoodoo just as much as black people did. But traditional hoodoo comes out of slavery, and you guys are absolutely right. They had nothing. They only had what they could find, and if they got caught with it, they got killed. So please don't attack me when I'm bigging you guys up. You know, my heart goes out to all you lot and your struggles and the horrors of the blues I was just talking about. Hoodoo is about oppression. And the most powerful hoodoo man ever was Moses. To give my people back, been oppressed all his life. Before you know it, God gives him the power of hoodoo. And hoodoo is some badass shit, don't fuck with it. But if you haven't been oppressed, you won't know it. You might burn a candle and get some blessings, but that ain't hoodoo. Hoodoo is real powerful. But you only know it with the gut-wrenching anger, want for revenge, but you never give in to it, and before you know it, yeah? And everyone's got ancestors. Everyone's got ancestors. Set up an ancestor altar, do what you wish. It's about oppression. And from hoodoo to Haitian voodoo to Obia, Palama Ombe, Santeria, Bruja, they're all from oppression. All of them, out of oppression. And they restore balance. Which is why we've just come full circle a few times now. If you put your hands together and you pray that your enemies are dealt with and it happens, then you've done exactly the same as someone burning a candle on someone because they've been oppressed. But it all matters about your intentions, because there are people that will pray on someone or burn a candle on someone simply because they've been offended or someone's told them the truth that they don't want to hear. And that makes them bad and wicked. Yeah? You've got to do good in this world. And it's all very subjective. So you've got to search yourself. The truth lies within you. And what I wish to do is unlock minds. Get people questioning their own reality. The ones want to pull me apart, go for it, good. I hope you enjoy it, I really do. What a waste of your time. The ones that are saying, no, he's got a point. I don't quite agree with this and I don't understand that, but he has actually got a point. Good, that's also what I wish. The keys to the world is a free-thinking mind. Slavery, if you think freely, you're in danger. You're endangering yourselves. Well, we're in a situation now where we enslave each other and we put shame on each other. And generations of information from the elders to the young is no longer being passed down. Now we pass on shame. When I was a kid, people used to say, hey, knuckle down and pay attention, otherwise you don't want to end up going beep, beep, beep in a supermarket. And now those same motherfuckers go beep, beep, beep themselves with the self-scan. They don't ask for a discount. They're not going in there saying this is terrible, wrong. No one's protesting. Nope. They don't even question, and they don't even realise they're now costing the next generation from having a job in a supermarket. They don't question nothing. It's like they're ashamed to. Or it's like they've eaten the crap food all their life and now their brain just is not capable of asking a free question. And if someone encourages them to, they get attacked. The person encouraging them to ask a free question because it hurts my brain. I haven't activated this part of my brain in a long time. I'm a little rat in my cage and I'm going around like a Pac-Man, eating up these little points going beep, beep, beep on a self-scan. And have you noticed that those self-scans are now moving along the aisles where there's like maybe two people working, two humans working, and it's just like, yeah, now we have a self-scan, long self-scan with a conveyor belt. No one's complaining. The sharecroppers, which were the first generations that were freed from slavery, a lot of them didn't know anything about anything other than being a slave. The slave master had to let them free. A lot of them didn't want the freedom, they didn't know what to do with it. So the idea of sharecropping came around fairly quickly. And sharecropping is you've got your land and you rent the land off of the landowner, the plantation owner, and you work that land, and you get paid a bit from said land. And now some of them got paid, not much, but some of them got paid. And a lot of them got paid money that was backed by nothing, wasn't real money, no legal tender, and you could only spend it on a plantation, and then he would rent spaces for other folk, usually white folk, to sell the sharecroppers things. Little shops would appear. What have we got today? You get whipped by your alarm clock. Money is backed by nothing, and there's a whole parade of shops that you can be sold things from, things you don't really need, and it doesn't enrich your life. In fact, even the food is devoid of nutrition, replaced with poison, and dumbs you down, and the information is false. Yet, they still listen to it. How many times you got to be lied to by the news? But people still switch on the news and listen to it. The newspapers, they lie and they lie and they dumb you down and they lie, and we know this. Yeah, okay, yeah, why the hell is everyone still going along with it? It's like a form of hypnosis, like I was saying. Another scandal, nothing done about it. Oh well, another one comes out. Let's remake some old films again. Because if everything's remade, then it's the same, and if it's the same, it's a rhythm of the same thing happening over and over again. And slowly but surely, people don't expect any different of than what just happened. Therefore, they expect what just happened to happen again. It happens again. How many times is a very well-known family cartoons that in backslang would be Impsons say, predicted the future and what's exactly going to happen? How many times? And there's people out there that actually go, oh look, they got it right again, oh wow. Like they actually predicted it. No, it's pre-scripted, man. And if you understand about manifesting with the universe, you know that how you think and the message you put out is the reality you create for yourself. So if you sit down and you watch something on TV and it spells out that this is going to happen on a film or on The Simpsons or anything, media or news, whatever, and you don't think freely, yet that's the thought that's in front of you, then that's what you manifest. Therefore, you are manifesting your own enslavement. I'd like everyone to close their eyes for a second. I'm going to do also. Think of a red door. Now think of a green lake with a big mountain behind it. Now think of that lake when the sun's just coming up and the mist is all over the water. Open up your eyes. We all saw those images, yet our eyes were shut. That's the all-seeing eye. That's the eye on top of the pyramid. That's the third eye. That's why Indians put a little dot here or jewels here. That is how you manifest the future and the reality that you want. Strengthen that. Create the image of what you want to see there. Okay? You can even imagine rain, and somehow you can not physically hear it, but in your mind you can hear it. The whole world exists outside, not inside. Inside, not outside. What you see outside is just light and vibrations. It's like a goldfish swimming around, you know. Two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl. And the ether, which is the energy of nothing that's everywhere, and the reason that Einstein said nothing is something. Up in space there's nothing in between the planets and the particles of dust and so on and so forth. The nothing, the fabric of space is something. And down here it's called ether. We used to call it ether. Yes? So we have the four elements, but they always don't tell you about spirit, ether. When you speak, your words go out into the ether. When you think, your thought processes goes out into the ether. The universe isn't just up there, it's here. It's within us. That's why we're called universal beings. If you close your eyes, you can see that you are the universe, experiencing itself in its creation called you. Yeah? Time to make free. No, time to break free from your daydreams. Break free from your daydreams to be free. Time to make believe from your daydreams to be free. Ask them. Yeah? See, I studied, there was a song that I helped write for a friend, which when my voice returns and I'm singing again, I'm gonna sing for this channel. And part of the lyrics of that song says, "Time to make believe from your daydreams to be free." Now I come up with this through a pondering, where I realised it was the power of belief that makes the difference. If you believe in something that's wrong, you can mess up your whole life. It's one of the biggest lessons I taught myself, because I realised I was thinking about something in the wrong way. And because of that, I changed the way I thought about some things, and instantly my whole life started to change. So many people think about things in the wrong way, because they've been taught to, impressioned upon to, conditioned to, shamed into. And it messes up your whole life. Words are spells. So it's the belief which is the power of those spells. If you don't believe in them spells, no, ain't happening. Some people say, well, I don't believe in all of this manifestation stuff. I'll simply say, well, did you wake up this morning? Yes. Well, you manifested waking up. And if you don't believe in manifesting, then you manifest nothing. Nothing is still something. It's called the ether. Everyone manifests every second. Every second that you're alive, you're moving into creation, which is manifestation. And if you believe something that's not true, then that's what you manifest. And if you believe that the TV is predicting the future and it's got nothing to do with you, then but you're still manifesting it. Belief is the power. So I started to study the word belief. And through a few ponderings, I realised that children make their beliefs. They make their beliefs by make-belief, by daydreaming. Like I used to always daydream looking out the window and get in trouble for it. So many people know this one. The old schools, the windows would be really high so the kids can't look out the window. You know, in the days that they would go and beat on children if you didn't believe these crazy things that have been taught. Children make their beliefs. Those beliefs are not handed to them by a corrupt, evil construct that wishes to enslave them. They make their beliefs. And if you want to get into how to generate and energize your ability to manifest what you want when you want, you've got to remember what it's like to make believe. Think about something that when you're a kid, you think about something, you get rushes of energy, and you know, sometimes to this day you can think about something that makes you angry. You haven't even left your armchair, it's making you angry. Or making your heart beat faster, and you get a little adrenaline buzz because you're thinking about something. And so that is your motor of manifestation starting up. This is why it's terrible to watch a film with horrific scenes in of people being butchered and afraid and so on and so forth. Yeah, you might enjoy the buzz you get from it. Fuck that, you're conditioned to. The subconscious doesn't know any difference. As far as the subconscious is concerned, you're there and you're witnessing that. So you're traumatizing your soul. Get yourself into a position where you can witness good things, play good things, eat, think, drink, do good things, positive things, and you watch your whole existence starts to change. Make believe from your daydreams to be free. And also, when you start to break free, if you get ostracized, you get ridiculed, you can't fit in anymore, you're being very true to yourself, therefore you find yourself in a position where your old beliefs, you know that you can't use them anymore. Your old ways, you know that you can't, because you've now got the truth. Yes, you realise this was a lie, now you have the truth. But you haven't used the truth enough in order to be confident with it. So you kind of like appear very, very strange and weird to people around you. And this is the moment where it takes real bravery. Like sometimes, at the moment, I have some reggae gear on that I'm sporting. And other times I've got my kind of, my country gentleman's get up, shall we say, which is what I enjoy. And other times I'll be sporting different types of clothes, yes, because I now understand and I have the confidence to wear different garms in comparison to my life circumstances. I've got no shame. I'm very proud of what I do. And every time I do this, other people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. But the truth of the matter is, it's freedom, and it's energy, and it's frequency that's showing them up. But before I had this confidence, I would go, right, I feel really confident to do this and to wear these clothes and to think this and to say this, and within seconds people are trying to shame me back into my shell. Indirectly, and I'll be like, why is people doing this? Would get an answer. And it's very lonely, and you've really just got to be brave, and it might last for a while, a year or so. And then what happens is eventually people start accepting it, and then you've got to not be bitter, because a lot of people would ostracize you and hurt your feelings. So go with it and embrace. This another one is embrace. All of it, just embrace it, okay? I'm seeing the numbers all over the place. The Crossroads answered me. This stuff called hoodoo and voodoo is like a bit spooky, and a lot of people going, oh, you gone weird, and oh, that's black magic, that is me. No, fuck that. I've gone through all the motions. I'm not a bad dude. I don't go hurting people. I embrace it, all of it. I embrace it. The beliefs, the cultures, the history, everything that's happening to me, how I feel from one day to the other, all the energies, embrace it. You want to break free, embrace it, no matter where it takes you. As long as you're not hurting somebody, then who cares? You're the one being hurt by the system. You're the one being hurt by the people that are trying to suppress you so you stay within your shell and shame you, put their shame on you. What you really want to do, open up a catalogue and try and imagine that you're that person from the catalogue once you've bought said item. I mean, come on, give me a fucking break. And if the truth hurts, then so be it. Embrace all the different motions. Be proud. Yeah? Be proud. Then you ditch the shame. And when you're proud of your anger, then you have righteousness. When you mix anger and pride together, you have righteousness. Yes, be proud. The most wonderful, wonderful emotion is pride. Now, I'm going to leave that there for now. Been a bit animated on this one, but I think I'm going to enjoy watching back episodes, because I'm not stopping this. So in a year or two from now, when I'm rolling, I'm going to look back on these first couple of episodes, done all the speaking in front of camera and all this, it's going to be interesting. So here's to you, your loved ones, your ancestors, the universe, sun, star and moons and all the good energies. Let's all vibe higher. A lot of love, guys.